Hey guys. So I was just grabbing lunch over here at 100 Federal Street. I don't know if you can see this place, but they just built it. It's this little atrium they attached to the original building. It's a pretty nice space, and you can grab lunch in here, coffee. But so I was in between meetings. I grabbed lunch, and as usual, I'm sitting here thinking about the election, thinking about the petitioning process. Good news, we are now up around 700 signatures, so that is great. It's been a lot of work to get there, but it's going well. So it is, victory is within sight. I think by end of this week we'll probably have 1,000 signatures, but we will need about 1,500 in order to be well over the target with a ratio, with enough cushion to make sure that we have valid signatures, because each signature has to get validated after the fact by the town clerks. So we'll be dropping those off at the town clerk later this, I guess Monday maybe, and we'll see how we're doing in terms of the validity rate of signatures. But I was thinking about it, and the whole signature process is this little barrier, artificial barrier that is put in place in order to, I guess, prevent having an overwhelming number of candidates run for office. It's a nominating petition. So typically in organizations, non-governmental organizations, in order to nominate somebody for a position, you really just need one person or maybe a small nominating committee, and then all the other members vote and determine whether or not the nominated candidates are the ones they think are appropriate for the position. So it really shouldn't be that difficult. A nomination really is a statement by an individual that they think you are qualified and appropriate candidate. So it's interesting because if you're running for state rep in Massachusetts, I think you only need 300 or so signatures of nomination. For a statewide position like governor or auditor, I mean, governor might even be bigger, but I know auditor is a statewide position, and that needs 10,000 signatures. So you have to spend a lot of time and money because when you need that many, oftentimes you hire people to do it, staff people to do it. So you need time and money in order to be able to run. And so I guess that creates a bigger hurdle than my position I'm running for, which only requires 1,000. But I'm just wondering if it should require any at all, other than a small number, like one or two people, to say I nominate this person to run. I think what it does is it creates enough of a barrier. I mean, if you think about it, state rep 300 versus governor's council 1,000. What that says is that they need a lot more people to run for state rep positions, and they don't want to get in the way too much, because there are more state rep positions. So it's interesting. I just think that it's one of the ways the two-party system creates a barrier. Because they're in power, they're the ones that set the rules. So they don't want a bunch of fringe candidates that people are going to have to pick from, or maybe have a group that supports them and then draws away from voting on those two-party candidates. If there's only two candidates running and they're Republican and Democrat, then that's the only thing people have to choose from. That's where all the votes get split up. If you have 5 different people running because there's people not associated with the two parties, then those 5 people might split the vote and outcomes might be different. So I think they do that in order to create a barrier. And then another thing they do to create favoritism for their two-party system is, you'll notice on the ballot at the time when people vote, they designate next to the name whether or not you are a D or whether or not you are an R, so that people don't actually have to get informed about the candidates, right? They just need to pledge loyalty to one of the two parties, and then they go in and they vote based on that. So if I were registered Republican, I would go in and vote RRR all the way down the ticket for all of the positions, because I don't actually need to know anything about what each individual person stands for. I just need to know that they generally stand for R. Same for D. And that's kind of sad, right? You don't even have to be a knowledgeable voter. You just go vote for R. For example, there are candidates running identified as R in Massachusetts that hold absolutely abhorrent policies or points of view. One, in fact, from out west, he says crazy things about homosexuality, and he thinks that it basically is an abomination. He's a very religious person and thinks that it's a sin and that nobody should support anybody who is homosexual. So, that's a very strange position. But if you're an ignorant voter and you don't know about that person, you just go to the polls and vote R because that's what you affiliate with. You can put that guy in office. That's a terrible thing about the system. So, I would support the idea of taking those designations entirely off. Obviously I'm a third party candidate, so it would benefit me to take those off, right? Because then people don't need to be scared by my Libertarian designation. But if we took those off the ballot, people would actually have to learn something about the candidates and decide whether or not a candidate actually reflects their point of view, their perspective. Because I'm pretty sure that my points of view are reflected by the majority or held by the majority of the people, especially the people that choose to be independent and remain unenrolled politically, don't affiliate with either of those two, because in reality 64% of the voters in Massachusetts are registered as unenrolled, and I think it's probably because they're independent minded. And so I would think that if getting rid of the party designations from the ballots, like they do in the local races, all the local races, they don't designate what people's registered party affiliation is. If we got rid of them, I think people would need to get more informed about who the candidates are, what they stand for, and whether or not they agree with them. So I'm going to think about maybe proposing that, and maybe somebody like Lenny Mira would buy into that. He seems to be an independent-minded guy, so maybe he would be willing to put forth the petition or the initiative if we were to write it up. I think it might lend to better elections. People stop associating with D's and R's, and instead just understand what candidates stand for. So that's where my thoughts are today while I ate lunch. Hope you're all doing well, enjoying the turn of spring. Hopefully, I think we have one more storm coming, but hopefully we'll get through it, and the end of March will be like a lamb. So talk to y'all later. Bye.